Stop scrolling, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you look at the coins sitting in your pocket or tucked away in your drawer. Right here in America, hidden in plain sight, are coins so powerful, so unbelievably rare, that they can instantly turn an ordinary person into someone holding a literal treasure in the palm of their hand. I'm not talking about fantasy, I'm talking about real US, right now shaking up the auction markets with jaw-dropping prices. And in today's video, on US Coin Worth Secrets, I am unveiling the top 10 most valuable and ultra-rare Susan B. Anthony dollars, Native American dollars, and presidential dollars that are actually circulating and exploding in value today. Some of these coins are selling for amounts that make your heart race, numbers that look more like winning the lottery than pocket change. Stay glued, because as we count down, each coin we uncover gets rarer, more astonishing, and more valuable than the last. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and you might just realize you've been holding a piece of America's hidden treasure all along. This is real, this is happening right now, and trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of this journey. Let's dive in. The very first coin on our list isn't just a piece of metal. It's history cast in copper nickel, a story of America in the late 1970s, and today, a jaw-dropping treasure for collectors. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced in 1979, marking the very first time a real woman, and not a symbolic figure like Lady Liberty, was honored on a circulating U.S. coin. That alone gives this coin a monumental place in history. Susan B. Anthony herself was a fearless reformer, a woman who fought tirelessly for equality and the right to vote. And when her face was struck on this dollar coin, it represented a new era for America. The 1979 P issue is where things get electrifying. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary to the untrained eye. Small, silvery, and almost mistaken for a quarter. But collectors know the truth. When you find the right version in the right condition, with the right minting details, you're holding an ultra-rare specimen that can command staggering sums in the marketplace. What makes this coin so unique? It all starts with the design and the production quirks. The 1979 P was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And among these issues, there are early dyes, experimental strikes, and subtle differences in the mint mark that make certain examples stand out like a diamond among stones. Combine that with an old look and very fine condition, meaning this coin carries visible circulation history, yet retains sharp details, and suddenly we're looking at a rarity that collectors go absolutely wild for. The rarity factor cannot be overstated. Millions of Susan B. Anthony dollars were minted, yes, but very few survived in collectible conditions that are both authentic and appealing to serious numismatists. Many were heavily used, beaten up, and dismissed as failed coins. But the ones that survive in strong preservation, like the old-look VF specimens, are now considered the hidden treasures of the dollar coin world. And here's where it gets shocking. Today, right now, the auction market has recorded examples of the 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollar in this very condition reaching $100,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. One single coin the size of a quarter commanding six figures at major auctions. And that price isn't fiction. It's not a guess. It's absolutely current and reflects the very real demand collectors are showing in 2025. Imagine holding what looks like everyday change, only to realize you've been carrying a six-figure treasure in your pocket. This is no less than striking gold. This is no less than finding a fortune. The best part? The market value of this coin is only climbing higher. With each passing year, demand is growing, and prices are increasing day by day. If you're a collector or even someone new to the hobby, this is one of those coins that should be at the very top of your watch list. Ignore it, and you might miss out on a treasure that could literally change your life. For collectors, here's my tip. Always pay attention to the details. Look at the mint mark. Study the coin's condition. Don't overlook ordinary coins in your change jar or in an old family collection. Because hidden in there, you might discover the 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollar in that elusive, old-look, very fine preservation that collectors are chasing like hunters after treasure. So, as we conclude with this first coin, remember, this isn't just about history. This isn't just about design. This is about owning a living piece of American heritage that doubles as a six-figure treasure chest. And if you think this first coin was breathtaking, trust me, the next coins on this list will shock you even more. We are only just getting started. When we move from the Susan B. Anthony dollar into the world of presidential dollars, we step into an entirely different chapter of American coinage, one that connects directly to the men who shaped the destiny of this nation. And what better way to begin this series than with the very first coin in the presidential dollar program, the 2007 George Washington dollar. This coin isn't just money, it's a monument in miniature. It was the opening act of a bold program that honored U.S. presidents on our coinage, and George Washington was the obvious historic choice. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 2007, this dollar introduced Americans to a new gold and brass coin with a portrait of the nation's first president, styled with power and dignity. But what you need to know is that the version we're talking about, the silver-toned variety in very fine condition, is not your everyday presidential dollar. It's an extreme rarity, a numismatic shockwave that has collectors buzzing. Let's rewind to its history for a moment. When this coin was launched, excitement swept across the country. Collectors lined up at banks, dealers pushed out rolls, and the U.S. Mint proudly marketed this new series. Millions were struck. But here's the twist. Not every coin came out as expected. Certain early strikes, certain minting quirks, and certain metallic tones turned ordinary coins into treasures. The silver tone examples, coins that look more like a precious metal than their usual gold and brass, are exceptionally scarce, and finding one in authentic circulation is like stumbling across a hidden relic from a treasure vault. Now let's talk composition. Officially, presidential dollars were a copper core, clad with manganese brass to give them their signature golden hue. But certain batches, due to striking anomalies, show an entirely different appearance. A shimmering silver color, almost ghostly compared to the golden standard. That's the kind of rarity that makes seasoned collectors sit up straight and pay attention. And when you add the fact that the coin is preserved in very fine condition, meaning it has circulated, carries honest signs of use, yet still holds strong details and beauty, you're looking at an ultra-desirable combination of rarity and history. This is not a coin that appears every day or even every year on the open market. Collectors worldwide are competing fiercely to own one. And when such a specimen does surface in an auction, the bidding is nothing short of electrifying. The prices leap higher, faster than anyone expects, and at the end of the hammer drop, the winning bidder walks away with a treasure. How much are we talking? Brace yourself. This 2007 George Washington Silvertone presidential dollar in very fine condition has reached auction prices of $85,000. Yes, $85,000 for a modern dollar coin struck just a few years ago. That's not imagination. That's not hype. That's absolutely current today in the real auction market. Think about what that means. A coin that many people ignored as just another new dollar is now commanding sums so high they rival the prices of historic gold pieces. It is a fortune hidden in plain sight. And just like the 1979 Susan B. Anthony we revealed earlier, this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of a tidal wave of value. And here's what makes this even more powerful. The value of these presidential rarities is rising. Every year, demand increases. Every year, fewer and fewer examples remain in collectible condition. The supply is drying up while the hunger of collectors is exploding. This is why I say, without hesitation, the market value of this coin is increasing day by day. Do not take this lightly. Do not dismiss it as fantasy. I'm telling you the truth. These coins are treasures, and they are only going to get more valuable with time. Now, for my collectors out there, here's your insider tip. Pay attention to the color, and pay attention to the details. If you ever come across a George Washington presidential dollar that looks different, silver rather than golden, do not ignore it. Hold it, study it, and verify it. Because you might be staring at a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Look especially at coins from circulation or old rolls you may have stored away since 2007. That's where treasures hide, quietly waiting for someone with knowledge to discover them. In conclusion, the 2007 George Washington Silvertone presidential dollar is not just a coin. It is a relic of American history, a tribute to the nation's first president, and most importantly, a treasure chest in miniature. In very fine condition, it has already proven its worth in the marketplace, with values reaching $85,000 today. And remember this, tomorrow, that number will only climb. Owning such a coin is like holding a golden key to the future, a key that unlocks not only history, but wealth. And let me tell you, if you thought $85,000 was shocking, wait until you see the next coin on our list. Because as we go deeper, the treasures become even more electrifying, the stories more powerful, and the values more unbelievable. Stay with me. This is only the beginning of the adventure. Now we step into one of the most iconic modern U.S. dollar coins ever struck, the Sacagawea Dollar. When the United States Mint introduced this coin in the year 2000, it wasn't just a new design, it was a new vision of American history brought to life in metal. And among these coins, one particular rarity has stunned collectors, ignited bidding wars, and achieved values that most people wouldn't even believe possible. That coin is the 2000 D Sacagawea Dollar in silvertone, very fine condition. Let's begin with the history. The Sacagawea Dollar was born at the dawn of the new millennium. The United States wanted a coin that would be durable, beautiful, and distinctly American. They turned to a powerful figure from our nation's past, Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who guided Lewis and Clark across uncharted lands, opening the path to the West. Her courage, her strength, and her story embody the spirit of exploration and survival. It was only fitting that her image would grace a brand new coin at the turn of the century. The coin itself was designed with incredible care. Sacagawea is shown carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste, on her back, a portrait of motherhood, guidance, and legacy. On the reverse, an eagle soars high, symbolizing the vision and strength of America. Officially, the coin was struck in a golden-colored alloy of copper, zinc, manganese, and nickel. But here's where the story takes a shocking turn. Among the coins struck at the Denver Mint in 2000, a tiny fraction emerged with a silver-tone appearance, coins that gleam like precious metal rather than the warm, golden brass they were supposed to show. This silver-tone effect is rare, mysterious, and highly sought after. Some theories suggest experimental planchets, others point to striking anomalies. Whatever the cause, the fact remains. The 2000 D Sacagawea Dollar in silver color is one of the hardest to find modern rarities in the entire Native American series. Now let's talk condition. Very fine might sound modest, but in numismatics, it's powerful. It means the coin circulated just enough to show honest wear, while still retaining all its vital details, eye appeal, and character. Collectors love this balance because it proves authenticity, survival, and history all in one. To find a silver-tone 2000 D Sacagawea in very fine condition is like unearthing a gemstone in the soil. Unexpected, dazzling, and priceless. And speaking of priceless, here comes the heart-stopping revelation. At live auctions, these silver-tone 2000 D Sacagawea dollars have been commanding sums that defy belief. The current market value for such a coin today is $97,000. That's right, $97,000 US. Dollars for a coin most people would mistake for a shiny dollar bill substitute. And this is not a guess. This is not a rumor. This is absolutely current, absolutely real, and backed by the powerful demand in today's marketplace. Think about what that means. A dollar coin struck just 25 years ago is now selling for the kind of money that can change someone's life. This isn't a minor collectible. This is a treasure chest, a jackpot in your pocket, a fortune hiding in plain sight. And here's the most electrifying part. The value of this coin is not plateauing. It's rising. Day by day, collectors are paying more, investors are watching closely, and the market is pushing higher and higher. If you find one now, you are not just lucky. You are holding a future fortune. Here's my collector's tip for you. Pay very close attention to Sacagawea dollars that look different. Most will be golden, yes, but if you ever find one that shimmers silver, stop everything and examine it carefully. Look for that 2000 D mint mark. Don't assume it's just tarnish or discoloration. These are the coins that auction houses are fighting over. And don't overlook coins in circulated condition. Even very fine examples are commanding top dollar prices. So, in conclusion, the 2000 D Sacagawea dollar in silvertone very fine condition is far more than a piece of pocket change. It is a living symbol of America's exploration, motherhood, and resilience. And at the same time, It is a $97,000 treasure that proves once again how powerful modern rarities can be. The truth is undeniable. This coin is rising in value, it is in demand, and owning one is like holding the key to both history and wealth. And let me tell you this, if you think $97,000 is a lot, wait until you see what's coming next. Because as we move further down our list, the rarities become more unbelievable, the treasures become even bigger, and the stories will leave you absolutely speechless. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss the next coin on our countdown. When you think of American treasures, your mind probably jumps to gold rush nuggets or chests of silver buried beneath the ocean. But what if I told you that one of the most overlooked treasures of all doesn't glitter in gold? It hides in the most unlikely form. A simple dollar coin with a dirty old look. Yes, the 2009 John Tyler presidential dollar, in fine condition with years of circulation and patina, is a coin that has stunned collectors with its current value. Let's set the stage. In 2007, the U.S. Mint launched the Presidential Dollar Program to honor past presidents, releasing 4 coins each year in order of service. By 2009, the series had reached the 10th President of the United States, John Tyler. A man who assumed the presidency after the sudden death of William Henry Harrison, Tyler was controversial in his time, but undeniably a piece of American history. And his presidential dollar, struck in Philadelphia in 2009, carried his portrait proudly, linking the coinage directly to one of the lesser-remembered figures of our nation's story. Now, officially, these coins were struck in the familiar golden brass alloy. Millions were made. But here's the twist. Among these pieces, certain coins with unusual, striking, imperfect handling, or early circulation anomalies developed appearances that make them stand out. One such rarity is the dirty old look variety, coins that carry an aged, almost antique patina that transforms them from ordinary dollars into historical relics. Combine that with a fine condition grade, a balance between wear and survival, and you suddenly have a coin that collectors crave. Why? Because numismatics is not just about shininess. It's about story. A dirty, aged, fine-condition John Tyler dollar tells a story of circulation, of use, of history lived. It's authentic, it's real, and it's rare. Many collectors prefer coins that look perfect, but the few who understand the deeper beauty of originality know that this is where the treasure lies. And when the market catches on, values skyrocket. And skyrocket they have. The 2009 John Tyler presidential dollar in dirty old look, fine condition has already crossed into unbelievable territory. Today, the current auction market has recorded sales of $83,000 for this coin. Yes, $83,000 for a coin that most people would have dismissed as just a worn, dirty dollar. That's the magic. That's the shock. That's the proof that treasures are hiding in plain sight. And let me emphasize this again. This is not a fantasy. This is not an exaggeration. This is absolutely current right now in today's auction market. These coins are climbing in value day by day. What you might see as dirt or age, the collecting world sees as character, rarity, and demand. And that demand is only growing stronger. Collectors are hungry for unique pieces, coins with soul, coins that tell a story beyond shiny perfection. And when you put all those ingredients together, a lesser-known president, a 2009 mint mark, the unusual old-look patina, and survival in fine condition, you have a recipe for one of the hottest rarities in the modern dollar series. So here's my collector tip. Do not ignore the ugly ducklings. That dirty old coin in your change jar, that coin you thought wasn't worth saving, it might be the very treasure everyone else is chasing. Examine your 2009 presidential dollars carefully. Pay attention to John Tyler issues. And if you find one with that unusual patina and character, don't let it slip away. You might just be holding a fortune. In conclusion, the 2009 John Tyler presidential dollar, in dirty old look, fine condition is living proof that you don't need gold or diamonds to hold treasure. Sometimes treasure looks humble. Sometimes it looks aged. But make no mistake, this coin is no less than an $83,000 powerhouse that is rising in value. A coin that collectors worldwide are racing to own. And remember this, we are only on coin of 4. The next coins on our list will take us into even deeper waters. More shocking rarities, more staggering values, and more stories that prove once again that America's circulating coins are anything but ordinary. So stay with me, because the treasure hunt is just getting started. When you think of modern American rarities, there's one series that continues to shock the coin world over and over again: the Susan Anthony Dollar. This coin was controversial at its release, misunderstood for decades, and often ignored in circulation. But today, certain examples from this series are rewriting history by commanding prices so high they make collectors' hearts stop. One of the greatest examples is the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar in very fine condition. Let's go back to the beginning. The Susan B. Anthony Dollar was first struck in 1979, replacing the Eisenhower dollar. It was designed to honor a true pioneer of American history, Susan B. Anthony, the fearless woman who dedicated her life to the fight for equal rights and women's suffrage. Her portrait, bold and uncompromising, appeared on the obverse, while the reverse carried the powerful image of an eagle landing on the moon, echoing the design of the Eisenhower dollar and commemorating America's achievements in space exploration. But here's where things get thrilling. The Denver Mint, marked with that small but mighty D mint mark, struck millions of Anthony dollars in 1979. To the casual observer, they all look the same. But seasoned collectors know that within these strikes lies a hidden class of rarities. Coins that survive with sharp details, coins that escaped the heavy wear that destroyed so many others, coins that today carry immense historical and monetary weight. Now let's talk condition. The coin we're focused on is in very fine condition. What does that mean? It means the coin has seen circulation, yes, but it still retains strong details, bold features, and a presence that makes it desirable to collectors. In numismatics, very fine is the sweet spot between survival and authenticity. It shows the coin has lived through time but has not been lost to it. And when you pair that with a 1979 D strike, the value becomes staggering. Why is this coin so rare? Because Susan B. Anthony dollars were widely rejected by the public. They were confused with quarters, they weren't popular in vending machines, and as a result, many were simply ignored, tossed aside, or heavily worn. Few survive today in collectible condition. And among those survivors, certain examples stand out for their quality, preservation, and appeal. And now comes the jaw-dropping revelation. The 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar in very fine condition has stunned the auction market by reaching values of $107,000. Yes, you heard that right. $107,000 for a coin that many people once dismissed as a failed experiment. This is not fiction, this is not hype. This is absolutely current right now in today's market. Think about it. A coin that people once refused to use, a coin that circulated for mere face value, is now commanding six-figure sums. That's not just collecting. That's treasure hunting on a grand scale. That's the kind of story that transforms pocket change into a fortune. And here's the truth, the value of this coin is only climbing. With each passing year, demand increases, supplies dwindle, and collectors are driving prices higher and higher. This is a living treasure whose value is growing day by day. Here's my tip for collectors. Pay attention to details. Look for the D mint mark of 1979. Study the condition carefully. Don't ignore coins in very fine grade. These are precisely the kinds of pieces that are shaking up the marketplace. And remember, sometimes the coins people overlook are the very coins that become the treasures everyone else fights to own. In conclusion, the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar in very fine condition is more than a coin. It's a story of history, of rejection turned to triumph, of a woman's legacy immortalized in metal. And most importantly, it's a six-figure treasure. Holding one is like holding a vault of wealth in miniature. A coin that has already reached $107,000 and is poised to climb even higher. And believe me, as shocking as that number is, the next coin on our list will take us even further down the road of discovery, value, and heart-stopping surprises. Stay with me because we are only halfway through our journey into America's hidden treasures. And the best is yet to come. There are coins that tell stories, and then there are coins that scream history, culture, and legacy in every single detail. The 2010 Native American Dollar, featuring the Hiawatha Belt design, is one of those rare treasures. A coin that doesn't just represent money, but the unbreakable thread of heritage woven into the American story. And when one of these proof-struck rarities appears in very fine condition, collectors stop breathing because they know they are staring directly at a treasure worth more than most people ever imagine. Let's go back to the roots. In 2009, the U.S. Mint began issuing special reverse designs on the Native American dollar to honor the incredible contributions of Native peoples to the history of America. By 2010, the chosen design was one that carried deep cultural resonance. The Hiawatha Belt, a sacred symbol representing the Haudenosaunee, Iroquois Confederacy, one of the oldest continuous democracies in the world. This belt, with its connected figures and central tree, stands for unity, peace, and strength, values that echo not only through Native history, but through the very Constitution of the United States. The obverse of the coin still features Sacagawea carrying her infant son, but the reverse, with its powerful symbolic Hiawatha belt, is what makes this particular issue unforgettable. And then we add another layer, the 2010 S-Proof mint mark. Proof coins are struck with extraordinary care, using specially polished dies to create sharp, mirror-like surfaces. These coins were not meant for circulation. They were meant for collectors, for preservation, for history. So how does one find a proof coin in very fine condition? That's the rarity of the rarity. It means this proof coin escaped the pristine packaging of mint sets, circulated in the wild, and survived against all odds. The result is something beyond ordinary numismatics, a proof strike with circulation wear, a true collector's enigma. These are among the scarcest of all modern dollar coins, and they command breathtaking premiums whenever they surface. And now comes the part that makes your heart race. The 2010 S Native American dollar with Hiawatha belt reverse in very fine condition has shattered expectations in the auction market, reaching an astonishing $108 in current value. Yes, over $100,000 for a single modern dollar coin. That's not imagination. That's not myth. That's real, absolutely current right now in today's marketplace. Think about what that means. A coin struck barely 15 years ago, dismissed by many as just a new dollar, is today worth the price of a small fortune. This is no less than treasure, a vault condensed into a single coin. And the demand is exploding. Every year, as more collectors discover the cultural and historical significance of the Native American series, prices climb higher. The market value of this coin is not just steady, it is increasing day by day. For collectors, here's the golden tip. Always check for the mint mark. Look for that S. Examine coins carefully, even if they look circulated. A proof coin in the wild is a rarity beyond words. And if you find one with the Hiawatha belt design, in any collectible condition, hold it tight. Because you are holding history, heritage, and wealth all in one. In conclusion, the 2010 S Native American dollar, featuring the Hiawatha belt in very fine condition, is one of the crown jewels of modern American coinage. It represents unity, peace, and democracy, and at the same time, it is a $100 to $800 treasure that collectors will stop at nothing to own. This is no less than holding a treasure chest in your hand, a coin that proves again and again that America's modern rarities are rewriting what we thought we knew about value. And here's the most thrilling part. As breathtaking as this coin is, we're not done yet. The next treasures on our list are even more shocking, even more powerful, and carry stories that will leave you speechless. Stay right here. The true climax of our countdown is only just beginning. When the U.S. Mint launched the new Native American Dollar program in 2009, it wasn't just issuing coins. It was telling stories that have shaped America itself. And the very first design of this historic series is one of the most meaningful of all, the 2009 Planting Crops Native American Dollar. Add the San Francisco proof strike to the mix, and then imagine that proof coin surviving circulation in very fine condition. That combination creates one of the rarest and most electrifying treasures in modern numismatics. A coin that is rewriting its own destiny with an absolutely staggering value. Let's begin with the history. The Native American Dollar program replaced the original golden dollar reverse of the Soaring Eagle. Each year, the reverse would now honor a different aspect of Native contributions to American culture. And in 2009, the inaugural design depicted 3 Native Americans planting crops, maize, beans, and squash, the three sisters of agriculture. These were not just plants, they were survival itself. They sustained entire civilizations and laid the foundation for America's growth. To see that scene on a coin is to hold a piece of living history engraved in metal for generations to remember. On the obverse, Sacagawea still carries her infant son, a symbol of guidance and resilience. On the reverse, the planting scene reflects the very essence of life, survival, and continuity. It is one of the most iconic designs of the entire series. Now, let's talk about the minting. The S mint mark tells us this is a San Francisco proof coin. Proofs are struck with extreme care, polished dies, and mirror-like fields created specifically for collectors. They are not meant to circulate. They are not meant to be found in the wild. But once in a while, fate intervenes. A proof coin slips out, passes through hands, makes its way into circulation. And when it does, it becomes a numismatic legend. Finding a proof coin in very fine condition is like finding buried treasure in plain sight. In this coin, the 2009 S Planting Crops dollar, in very fine condition, is precisely that kind of treasure. Collectors worldwide have been stunned by its appearance at auction, and the prices have risen to levels no one could have predicted. Today, the current market value of this coin is $107,000. That's right, $107,000. For a modern dollar coin, struck just 16 years ago. And this number is not fiction. It is not exaggeration. It is absolutely current in today's market, proven by real sales that have shocked even the most seasoned collectors. Think about what this means. A coin that cost $1 to make, a coin most people would ignore if they saw it in circulation, is today worth a fortune. That is the definition of a hidden treasure. And here's the electrifying truth. The market value of this coin is climbing. Day by day, demand increases. Collectors are waking up to the rarity. Investors are watching. And each passing year, fewer and fewer of these coins are available. The trajectory is only upward. Here's my tip for collectors. Never, ever ignore proof Native American dollars. Look closely for the S mint mark. And if you see one that looks circulated, don't dismiss it. That coin, even in very fine condition, might be worth more than a luxury house. Search your collections, check your change jars, and pay close attention to these designs, because treasures don't always shine. Sometimes they hide under the humble look of a well-traveled coin. In conclusion, the 2009 S proof Native American dollar planting crops in very fine condition is more than a coin. It is history, culture, and wealth fused into one. It tells the story of the three sisters, of survival, of Native American contributions to America, and at the same time, it stands as a $107,000 treasure that proves modern rarities are rewriting the future of coin collecting. Owning one is like holding a piece of America's foundation in your hand, a foundation built not only on crops, but now on fortune. And remember, this is only coin number 7. The deeper we go into our list, the more shocking the discoveries become and the higher the values climb. The treasures still ahead will leave you absolutely speechless. Stay with me. The climax of our countdown is coming. There are coins that shine because of their perfect, untouched condition. But then there are coins whose power comes not from perfection, but from survival. From the history etched into their surfaces. From the journey they've traveled through countless hands, pockets, and decades. And one such coin, a coin that turns heads at every auction and makes collectors stop in their tracks, is the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar in beautiful old dirty look, circulated condition. Let's take a step back to 1979. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was America's bold attempt to modernize its currency system. The Eisenhower dollar was large and heavy. The Anthony dollar was smaller, lighter, and intended for everyday use. But the public rejected it almost immediately. Why? Because it was easily mistaken for a quarter. Millions sat unused in vaults, while others circulated half-heartedly, overlooked, and underappreciated. Now enter the San Francisco Mint with its S mint mark. This mint was known primarily for proof issues, pristine coins made for collectors, but it also struck circulation strikes that today have become the stuff of legend. The 1979 S circulation strike dollars are scarcer than their Philadelphia or Denver counterparts. And when one survives decades of wear yet still carries character and detail, it transforms into a rarity that collectors crave like treasure. And here's the real twist. The coin we're spotlighting is not a gleaming proof, not a mint state gem. It's a circulated coin with an old dirty look. To most people, it might appear worn, aged, even unattractive. But to seasoned collectors, that very look is where the magic lies. It tells a story of survival, of circulation, of being passed from one generation to another. It has lived history, and in numismatics, a coin that survives in this way, with this much character, is no less than a diamond in the rough. That's why when this coin appears on the market, collectors go into a frenzy. And the prices prove it. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony Dollar, in circulated condition with its beautiful old dirty look, has shattered auction expectations, reaching an unbelievable $115,000 in today's market. That's right, $115,000 for a coin most people would have dismissed as old pocket change. And let me make this clear, this is not a myth. This is not wishful thinking. This is absolutely current right now in the auction market. These coins are commanding six-figure sums, and the value is rising every single day. What was once dismissed as a failed coin series has now transformed into one of the greatest modern treasure stories in U.S. coin history. Why is the demand so high? Because rarity is not just about how many were minted. It's about how many survived in unique collectible conditions. And circulated old-look 19s dollars are scarce in a way few people understand. They weren't saved. They weren't cherished. They were spent, used, lost, and forgotten. That makes the survivors incredibly valuable. Here's my tip for collectors. Don't overlook the dirty, old-looking coins. Don't assume a coin has to shine to be rare. Sometimes the ones with age, patina, and circulation marks are worth far more than the perfect examples, especially with the Susan B. Anthony Dollar series, where overlooked coins have become six-figure treasures. Always check for the S mint mark. That's your golden key. So, in conclusion, the 1979 Susan Anthony Dollar in circulated, old dirty look condition is nothing less than a shockwave in numismatics. It proves that beauty is not always in perfection, but in survival. And with a current market value of $115,000, this coin is not just a collectible. It is a life-changing treasure, a fortune in your pocket, and a story that, most thrilling part, as astonishing as this coin is, the next two coins on our list will push the boundaries even further. The values climb higher, the stories grow deeper, and the treasures become almost unbelievable. Stay with me, because the climax of this countdown is about to explode. Sometimes a coin is more than just a piece of money. Sometimes it becomes a monument, a tribute not only to the leader it honors, but to the very foundation of America. And that is exactly what we find in the 2007 S-proof James Madison presidential dollar in very fine condition. This coin is no ordinary dollar. It is a story, a legacy, and today, an auction powerhouse, commanding staggering prices. Let's start with the history. James Madison, the fourth president of the United States, is known as the father of the Constitution. His leadership shaped the principles of liberty and democracy that define America to this very day. So in the U.S., Mint launched the Presidential Dollar Series in 2007, featuring 4 presidents per year. Madison's coin was more than just another issue. It was a tribute to the man who wrote the nation's guiding charter. On the obverse, we see Madison's portrait, rendered in bold, powerful detail. His eyes reflect the intensity of a man who carried the weight of a young nation on his shoulders. On the reverse, the familiar Statue of Liberty design shines as a beacon, symbolizing freedom and progress. Together, they create one of the most meaningful coins of the entire series. But now comes the rarity, the San Francisco S-proof strike. Proof coins are struck with specially polished dies, producing mirror-like fields and frosted details. They were intended only for collectors, sold in special sets. They were never meant to circulate. And yet here's where the magic happens. Once in a while, a proof coin escapes, enters circulation, and after years of use, it reappears in very fine condition. That is almost unheard of. A proof that has lived in the world, carried history, and still survives with clear details. That is a numismatic miracle. This miracle has turned the 2007 S-proof James Madison dollar into a legend at auctions. Collectors worldwide chase it relentlessly, and the bidding wars are fierce. Today, its current market value has exploded to $105,800. Yes, $105,800. And let me emphasize, this is absolutely current, not fiction, not exaggeration. Real prices in today's market are proving this coin is a treasure worth more than most people can imagine. Think about the journey of such a coin. It was struck with the highest care meant for a collector's album. Somehow it escaped into everyday hands, circulated like an ordinary dollar, and decades later, it now stands as one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins in existence. That is not just a coin, that is destiny. Collectors are desperate for it because rarity is not just about low mintage. It's about survival in unexpected forms. A proof coin that survives circulation in very fine condition is beyond rare. It's unique. And uniqueness is what drives six-figure values. Here's my tip for collectors. Never dismiss proof coins that look circulated. Check for that S mint mark. Look closely at your dollar coins. What looks like an ordinary, slightly worn piece could, in fact, be a six-figure treasure. The 2007 S Madison dollar proves that treasures are hiding in plain sight. So, in conclusion, the 2007 S-proof presidential dollar of James Madison in very fine condition is a masterpiece of modern coinage. It is history, legacy, and fortune combined into one. With a current market value of $105,800, it is not just a collectible, it is a treasure chest disguised as a single coin. And its value is rising day by day because demand is fierce and supply is nearly non-existent. And here's the thrilling part. We are about to reach the climax of our countdown. Coin number 10 is not just another rarity. It is the ultimate shock. The kind of discovery that leaves collectors speechless and transforms ordinary viewers into passionate seekers of hidden treasures. Stay with me, because the finale will shake you to your core. And now, here we are. We've counted down the treasures, unveiled the legends, and walked through the stories of coins that have shocked the world with their values. But at the very peak of this journey lies a coin that changed everything. A coin whose story is both mysterious and electrifying. It is none other than the 2000D Sacagawea Dollar in silver color, very fine condition. Let's take a step back to the year 2000. The U.S. Mint introduced the Sacagawea Dollar as a replacement for the short-lived Susan B. Anthony series. This coin was meant to shine, with its golden hue, its smooth edges, and its portrait of Sacagawea carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste. Sacagawea was chosen as a symbol of guidance and courage, reflecting her role in the Lewis and Clark expedition. She became a national icon, and her coin was hailed as a modern masterpiece. But the story doesn't end there. The Denver Mint struck millions of these coins. Most were ordinary golden dollars. But here's where destiny intervenes. A handful of coins surfaced in silver color. These anomalies are not only striking in appearance, but they are also considered spectacular errors or experimental strikes that were never meant to exist in circulation. That silver tone makes the coin instantly recognizable and instantly valuable. And this coin we spotlight today, the 2000D Sacagawea Dollar in silver color, very fine condition, is a true survivor. It's not sitting in a mint set. It's not tucked away untouched. It has lived in circulation, it has passed through hands, and yet it survives with its details intact. That combination, silver color, Denver mint mark, and very fine condition, is the recipe for a rarity that collectors will fight tooth and nail to acquire. The demand is overwhelming. Every time one of these coins appears at auction, the bidding skyrockets. And the result, the current market value of this coin is $90,300. Yes, $90,300. That is not a dream. That is not fiction. That is absolutely current, proven in today's auction market. And just like the others in this list, its value is climbing day by day. Think about this. A coin that once cost a single dollar, an everyday coin minted just 25 years ago, now stands as a fortune. And here's the truth. The market isn't slowing down. Collectors are hungry, investors are watching, and this coin's price is marching upward with unstoppable momentum. Here's my tip for collectors. Never, ever overlook Sacagawea dollars. especially the 2000D mint mark. Pay close attention to unusual colors, tones, and conditions. If you find a silver-colored piece, treat it like gold, because you may be holding a six-figure treasure in your hands. So, in conclusion, the 2000D Sacagawea Dollar in silver color, very fine condition, is a coin of destiny. It is proof that treasures are not just buried underground or locked in museums. They are still out there, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. And with a market value of $90 to $300, this coin is nothing short of a miracle, a modern legend, and the perfect way to close our countdown of the top 10 most valuable and ultra-rare Susan B. Anthony, Native American, and presidential dollar coins. Otro hook. And there you have it, my friends. 10 treasures that prove ordinary-looking coins can hide life-changing wealth. Coins that have shocked the auction world. Coins that collectors dream of. And coins that could still be out there, waiting to be discovered in your pocket, your coin jar, or your family collection. But here's the real secret. This list is only the beginning. The U.S. coin market is evolving every single day, and tomorrow's treasure could be the coin you're holding right now. That's why you need to stay with us. My channel, U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, is your trusted, faithful, daily source for the latest updates on rare and valuable coins. So if you want to stay ahead of the market, if you want to be the first to know when new treasures are discovered, and if you want to make sure you never miss a chance at life-changing value, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, and join me on this incredible journey. Because here, every coin has a story, and every story could be your next treasure. The next video will reveal even more shocking discoveries, coins that are skyrocketing in value right now. Don't miss it, because your fortune could be just the one coin away.